Special Spiral 4 is one of the most powerful B skills we've ever gotten in Fire Emblem Heroes. We haven't seen this much power in a B skill since Hardy Fighter last year. But who are the best users of Special Spiral 4, and how can we have the most fun with it? In this video, I'll be going over who I believe uses Special Spiral 4 the best in the meta, and also going over my favorite fun builds that can turn some of your favorite heroes into hilarious special spamming monsters. Now before I jump into the best users and the best builds, let's quickly analyze Special Spiral 4 and why it's one of the best B skills we've received. Special Spiral 4 has 3 main effects: plus 5 true damage when the hero's specials procs, damage reduction piercing. In particular, this does not pierce through special damage reduction such as Aegis or godlike reflexes, and it also does not pierce through flat damage reduction like what you would find on Asker or Brave Dimitri. But it does pierce through damage reduction like Close Call, Dragon Wall, or a lot of damage reduction you'll find on weapons. Third, it grants special cooldown -2 after combat. Some other things you need to know is that this can only be inherited by infantry and armored heroes, so unfortunately cavalry and flyers are left in the dark once again. The reason this is extremely powerful is due to the damage reduction piercing aspect, as up to this point that was only available via lethality for dagger users, Deadeye for bow users, Twin Blades for Altina, the Goat, Long May She Reign, and a few other characters had it via their weapon effect like Tine and Flavia. Damage reduction has become a staple in the current meta and has helped tanks stay relevant amongst all these powerful nukes. But when we look at the most competitive builds for safe tanks in particular, you will notice that many of them use Hardy Fighter plus Deflect Magic. This build became relevant at the beginning of the year due to the rampant amount of mages with either brave weapons or desperation effects that could put out way too much damage like Dual Corin or Vigilante Cynthia. These heroes were so strong that meta tanks had to build to push them out of the meta essentially. And it worked really well, but now all hell is going to be set loose once again because Special Spiral 4 allows mages to completely ignore Deflect Magic when they're special procs, and destroy tanks once again. Now unfortunately this is only the case for infantry mages realistically, so this doesn't fix the problem for our mage cavalry heroes, but even so this is a big change, and it's just what the doctor ordered for some of our favorite meta mages. Also don't forget this also can work for melee infantry, allowing them to become even more powerful damage dealers as well. Even though Deflect Melee never became super meta, normal sources of damage reduction are, and this is a great way to go right through it. With all that said, let's go over who I believe are the best users of Special Spiral 4. Just to be clear, this is not going to be an exhaustive list of all characters in Fire Emblem Heroes, this is just going to be the characters I think use it the best, and characters I want to highlight. Also, they are not tiered from the best to worst until we get to the very top of the tier list. I will also not be focusing on Arcane weapons. If you'd like to hear my opinion on Arcane Eclipse or see some builds for it, check out my Arcane Eclipse tier list, I'll leave a link in the description. First, let's start off with the small upgrade category. These are heroes who already have access to damage reduction piercing via Deadeye or lethality, but Special Spiral 4 lets them run a more efficient build that can be a bit stronger. This isn't necessarily worth it unless you are trying to compete at the various highest levels of summoner duels, or these are your favorite characters. Also, you are going to be seeing a lot of attack speed finish. Don't worry if you don't have it, just use another attack and speed boosting skill like a deal or push. First we have our 3 legendaries, Chrom, Lyn, and Lucina. All 3 of these use a similar build that allows them to rupture the sky on their second attack, which can offer them a ton more power, but it does come at the cost of less speed, either from a lull or tempo, so that is something to consider. After that we have our 3 meta boys, Duo Chrom, Ascended Joshua, and Yuri. Duo Chrom already has an exceptionally easy job of ramping specials, so this isn't really needed, but in very competitive game modes you often want to switch up his kit for other skills. This build does offer an additional plus 10 true damage as well, so it can make Chrom hit even harder, but honestly this is only for whales. Joe. Next up we have one of my favorites, Ascended Joshua. With some NFU support, this allows Joshua to go max damage dealing power. And then lastly we got Yuri, who's extremely mobile, so you really don't want to run a finish or oath skill on him, but just like Joshua, he can put out some quick deadly damage with this build. You do lose out on some of the firepower of lethality, but even so these builds are extremely consistent. My next category is going to be special rampers. These are characters who already have special acceleration in their weapon, like a breath or blade effect. These heroes don't take full advantage of the special spiral part because they already have easy access to big specials, but the damage reduction piercing is nice. Also, most of these heroes are going to want some type of null follow-up, so you can either switch their seal or supply it from outside support. The best user in this category by far is male Shez. Shez can do some disgusting Vital Astra spam with his dual phase brave weapon. This build allows him to proc 2 Vital Astras in player or enemy phase. Also, once it's pre-charged, he can do up to 4 attacks with additional true damage and healing from the finish skill, which can not only allow him to put out insane damage, but also heal any damage he may have taken. Legendary Roy essentially wants to plant into a spot and let enemies run into him with this build. The built-in tempo lets him ensure he can get out File Astra, but he is reliant on Bile Astra and Human Virtue 2 for survivability to make sure the team has bonuses. Female Shez can run a nice duelist build that lets her stack up damage reduction via her weapon, Speed Smoke 4, and Bile Astra. Rucker can run almost the exact same build and fulfill the same role, but just as a sword. Soleil can turn into a powerful fire sweeper that can spam Lunas while being completely safe from most heroes. And then lastly we have Brave Celica, who can do some Luna spamming, though you lose out on her unique ability to quad. Now let's move on to the Vantage category. These 4 are unique heroes who can still Vantage even while using Special Spiral 4, allowing them to put out a lot more damage. First up we have Kronia. Kronia's Refine helped to fix some of her problems, but Special Spiral 4 is by far the best skill to make her into a lethal threat once again. This build allows Kronia to do maximum damage and to spam Rupture Sky in every single combat. Kronia may need some pulse support to get it going though, so she works great with a hero like Asker. After that we have Brave Marth with his unique Vantage effect built into his weapon. This build focuses on Brave Marth one-shotting opponents with Shining Emblem before they even get a chance to fight. You definitely want to pair him up with some powerful damage supports like Moosebell or Brave Eliwood. We have yet another Marth, but this time Winter Marth. Winter Marth's unique and cool Speed Preempt Desperation effect transforms him into a powerful Vantage option. The only thing holding him back is firepower, and that's where Special Spiral 4 comes in. Lastly, we have Baby Marth, who gets dual effectiveness against armored and cavalry foes, but unfortunately he does need some help. He needs some way to get below 75% HP, and also needs a pulse effect to pre-charge his special. But if you are a plus 10 Marth investor, this is a great chance to make him relevant again. Our next category is True Damage. These are heroes who can put out a lot of damage, and Special Spiral 4 just adds to that. Our first user is going to be Brave Alm. Now I'm sure you all are aware, but Alm does a lot of damage. But his biggest competition is Legendary Nana, who just straight up ignores damage reduction. This build allows Alm to do the same, as with one pulse, Alm can have Bile Astra up all the time, meaning he is consistently slicing through damage reduction while also providing damage reduction for himself. It's a very cool and fun build, but it does require Alm to lose some mobility by not being able to run close call, or some stats by not being able to run a lull. After that we have Kanas, who just does so much true damage and also can pre-charge whatever type of special he wants. Kanas can run all kinds of specials depending on how long you want to wait, or if you want to run Times Pulse to make it a little bit faster. He's one of the most versatile nukes on this list. Sonya is one of the best aging Gen 1 units, and her weapon allows her to pre-charge up a powerful special while also dealing an additional 10 damage with it. This build is a delayed Glacies build to get around Hardy Fighter, but you can also just pre-charge an Iceberg if you are afraid of dying to a counterattack. Duo Erica is a slept-on hero who can offer true damage and healing from her weapon, allowing her to act as a healing tank frontliner who is difficult to take down. And then Carla has a great combination of null follow-up and 15% true damage, while Charlotte is a high attack nuke with true damage based off her attack stat. These are 2 player phase builds if you want to focus on nuking enemies at melee range. Tempo is one powerful effect, especially when you are focused on spamming specials, as Guard can be quite the annoyance. The next category is full of heroes with anti-guard or tempo effects, so they can always ensure their specials will be going off. First up is the meta menace known as Asker. Now typically Asker is a frontliner and uses Bulwark to protect his allies, but if you want him to become a nuke frontliner who is difficult to engage on, then you can use a build like this to have deadly bonfires every single combat. Valoria is typically a Gale Force support, but you can also use a build like this if you want a more offensive Valoria, as she can pre-charge her own special, and she can be quite flexible with what special she runs. Ashe can take after her father and run a scary bonfire build. And after that we have Ira and her daughter here to pump out damage with their Ragnal Astras. Either of them can run a player phase or enemy phase build as shown, and if you want to deal a bit less damage but be more tanky, then feel free to switch their specials to Vital Astra. Our Professor and Malice can run all the offensive builds I've shown up until now, or you can even go for a distant counter build like this. I would recommend waiting for Byleth's Refine before deciding, as it should be any month by now. Lastly, we have a few more powerful beasts. Now the problem is that beasts don't have access to as many powerful specials like Vital Astra or Rupture Sky, so there aren't the best choices. But even so, they can be amazing special spammers. Hatari Nyla even has built-in null follow-up, so she can be difficult to stop. While Keaton has a brave weapon that can allow him to be difficult to engage on as he throws out powerful bonfires right into your face. Now our final category before I discuss the best users is going to be the heroes who don't fit into one category exactly, but still make great use of Special Spiral 4. First up is Catherine and Lewin. Both of these heroes have desperation effects in their weapon, allowing them to easily proc their damage reduction piercing specials before the foe can even retaliate. They do have a few weaknesses though. They are both weak to guard, and in Lewin's case he will need no follow-up from an outside source, or give up a lot of damage by changing his seal to NFU. Young Mia can be a powerful duelist with her built-in no follow-up and dodge. With this build, she will always have Battle Astra up after the first combat, meaning she'll have 2 layers of damage reduction and hit extremely hard. Legendary Makai is an interesting option as you would be replacing her preference B skill, but Special Spiral 4 does allow her to capitalize on her dual effectiveness and make her a scary nuke. But you may want to bring a way for her to get into desperation range so she doesn't have to worry about dying. In all honesty, Ophelia wants to run an AoE build. It's definitely her strongest option, but unfortunately the damage reduction piercing effect of Special Spiral 4 doesn't work with AoEs. Even so, this can be an upgrade for her if you're a big Ophelia fan or have a heavily invested one. Basil Scythic becomes more powerful with her special pre-charge, so you can either use this build to hit Luna on the second hit, or you can bring a Pulse Friend to have it charged on turn 1. Either way, she will hit ridiculously hard. Fallen Delthea can be a great teleporting threat, essentially doing her best Harmonic Sonya impersonation, but you will need to bring some pulses to take full advantage of Delthea's weapon. And then lastly, we have Ascended Merida and Flame Lyn. Both of these heroes can be powerful damage dealing duelists, but in all honesty, they don't get as much out of Special Spiral 4 as others. This is largely due to the fact they both have Special Spiral 1 already in their weapons, so the effect is typically redundant. I am now going to go over who I believe are the best users of Special Spiral 4. All of these heroes can use this skill extremely well and become immensely threatening nukes. Let's start off with the heroes I consider very good, but they do have 1 or 2 flaws that keep them out of the highest tier. First up, we have Hatari Karla, who has Slaying, Quick Impulse 2, and a buttload of true damage. Hatari Karla can easily charge up whatever type of special she wants, and not only will she do massive true damage due to her weapon, but with her Special Spiral 4, it will slice through damage reduction. This is a duelist build you can use, but honestly, she also works well with AoEs as well. If you do decide to go that route though, she'll end up similar to base Ophelia, where Special Spiral 4 is an upgrade, but you won't be taking full advantage of it. Next up is Ascended Hilda, who just like Karla has true damage based off her max special cooldown charge. But Hilda also offers solid support, and most importantly, has some built-in damage reduction. Both Karla and Hilda struggle against guard, which can hold them back. Let's keep the 3 houses train going with legendary female Byleth. Byleth has built-in tempo and no follow, which makes her specials much more consistent. She can even warp around, being a powerful mage threat. The one thing that holds Byleth back, in my opinion, is that she can't run a sweep effect while also running Special Spiral 4, which means she is in danger of dying to counterattacks, especially considering her bulk is only decent at best. The God of 3 Hopes, Arvel, is one horrifying damage dealer. They have a ton of great things going for them, such as a massive attack and resistance stat, weapon triangle advantage against everything that isn't colorless, and 20% true damage based off their resistance. This makes Arvel not only hit like a truck, but deceptively bulky. Arvel can spam out deadly icebergs, hitting for massive damage, or even run an AoE build that lets them double down on their true damage. The one downside with these builds is Arvel's major weakness to guard, which can stop them from getting the special loop started. Legendary Deirdre is one of the most slept on heroes in the game. She already does a ridiculous amount of damage, and her passive miracle effect makes it so it's very safe for her to engage on any foe. Special Spiral 4 allows her to take her damage to a ridiculous new level. Now with this build, she can struggle against guard, but in all honesty, she doesn't even need the offensive part of her special always to kill things, so it's not the biggest deal. Our final hero in this tier is going to be Monica. Monica is essentially Luin 2.0 with her built-in desperation effect. She can safely put out powerful specials before the foe can even counterattack, but just like the heroes before, she can struggle against guard and follow-up denial, which can hold her back. Okay, these are the 4 heroes that I think are the very best users of Special Spiral 4. These heroes are absolutely horrifying, and believe me, they are the last things you want to see on the enemy team. These heroes can all use Special Spiral 4 with almost no downsides. It's by far their best B skill, and these are the heroes I mostly expect to see it in the current meta. At number 4, we have Ascended Celica. Celica is an extremely powerful and annoying hero to deal with. Between her true damage, anti-guard effect, and miracle, she can safely engage on enemies and destroy them. And with this build, she can even heal up, meaning she can once again get into that miracle range so she can keep on fighting even after the first combat. In number 3 is a forgotten hero, Fallen Merida. Merida got an excellent refine that works perfectly with Special Spiral 4. It grants 10 attack and speed, offensive no follow-up, anti-guard, and can even grant a -8 debuff to speed or defense depending on what Merida needs. This allows Merida to safely engage on foes and unleash a powerful special before they can even counterattack. This lets Merida be a top tier melee nuke who needs absolutely no support. Now, you have 2 builds to choose from. First, we have a Luna spamming build that gains an additional 10 true damage from Finish and Special Spiral 4. And then secondly, we have a Dragon Fang build that relies on Flashing Blade 4 to allow Merida to pump out that big special. Both builds are very strong and make Fallen Merida a hero you don't want to underestimate. In number 2, we have Ascended Ishtar, who has finally gotten her chance to step into the spotlight. Ishtar has a conditional brave weapon with a tempo effect. This allows Ishtar to put out ridiculous damage. With the build I'm showing right now, she can rupture sky before the enemy can even get a chance to blink. But what's really crazy is when Ishtar is able to quad. This build offers an absolutely ridiculous amount of true damage. Essentially, she will attack, then rupture sky with an additional 10 true damage, then do another attack with 5 true damage, then rupture sky yet again with another 10 true damage. That's 25 true damage without even considering the damage from 2 rupture skies or just her normal damage. Not much in the game is going to be surviving that, even with the help of Hardy Fighter. But the number 1 user of Special Spiral 4 in all of Fire Emblem Heroes is going to be Brave Lysithea. If you are a longtime viewer of the channel, you know I've been talking about Brave Lysithea getting damage reduction piercing and how it would turn her into possibly the best nuke in the entire game. Well, here it is, and she is horrifying. This is a hero you do not want anywhere near you. First, let's go over Lysithea's max power build. This build allows Lysithea to hit the foe twice in a row and ramp into a 41 damage Dragon Fang that pierces right through damage reduction. There is almost nothing in the game right now that is surviving that. It's just way too much damage. Now the one downside with this build is that it is weak to guard, but don't worry, the second build removes that weakness. With this Luna build, Lysithea can get right past guard thanks to her blade effect and her weapon, allowing her to smash the enemy with a Luna on the second attack. It might not pack quite as much of a punch, but it's still going to hit extremely hard. A thing to consider is to bring null follow-up support for the Hardy Fighter matchups, as the defensive null follow-up will cancel out her guaranteed follow-up attack. The other scary thing to think about is Lysithea with Bridal Catria or Harmonic Sheeta support. She can quad before the foe can counterattack, and with the Luna build, she can even double Luna. This skill is just perfect on Lysithea, and that is why she's my top choice for the best user. Now before I end the video, let's quickly go over some fun builds. These builds aren't going to dominate the meta, but they are damn fun. And honestly, what's more important than fun? Now you may notice a lot of these are Tellius heroes, but I promise that's just a coincidence. It's definitely not because I relate fun to Tellius. Anyways, our first set of builds is Black Knight in all of his forms. This build allows Black Knight to retaliate with a Black Luna that ignores all damage reduction, and that's essentially a lethality on every attack, which is just stupidly fun to watch. Zeshado did a showcase on this build. If you want to check out his video, I'll leave a link in the description. Next up, we have some Lances to show off. This Ephraim build essentially allows Ephraim to spam out ridiculously powerful Ignises every combat. It's a very powerful build that can make Ephraim an all-star duelist. We can't talk about fun though without bringing up Winter Ephraim, who thanks to his brave effect and his weapon can become a bonfire spamming monster. With this build, Winter Ephraim becomes a near save out for blood, destroying any enemy stupid enough to attack into him. Now Hatari Carla is a great user as I mentioned before, but if you want to go for the high damage numbers just for fun, then this Astra build can let Carla bonk an enemy for hundreds of damage that goes right through damage reduction. It's not the most practical build, but it's absolutely hilarious. And of course we can't leave Hector out of the fun. This build allows base Hector or Valentine's Hector to become a powerful near save that not only puts out powerful bonfires, but is able to heal up a ton of HP. And if somehow they drop down low enough, they can even get more power from their built-in Wrath effect. Now how can I consider something fun if Ike isn't involved? Now this Brave Ike build is an extremely unconventional build. Essentially you are going to want Brave Lucina behind you with some null follow-up support, but this build allows Brave Ike to do some stupid damage and heal up as well. The cool thing is, after the first combat, he will even Ether on every first counterattack, meaning he will heal for the maximum amount on every single Ether. Now we can't leave out the Sword Ikes as well, and by far my most favorite build is this Legendary Ike build, that lets him pump out a ridiculous amount of damage with Radiant Ether 2 as it gets an additional 10 true damage on every proc. Legendary Ike is typically bulky enough to take one hit, and if you stack enough speed, then he shouldn't be getting doubled, but he will need some help. This build lets Ike spam Radiant Ethers every combat, shredding opponents and healing up any damage he's taken. Finish also offers an additional layer of healing, which is nice, so Ike should easily be able to stay healthy. It's not a meta build, but damn it's fun. Duo Ike is up next with an offensive Juggernaut player phase build. This build allows Ike to run up, smack someone, then unleash a massive Dragon Fang straight into their face, piercing damage reduction and most likely killing them. And after the first combat, Ike can unleash it on all of his first attacks due to his weapon's effect and doesn't even need to worry about guard anymore. Our final build is going to be a Nico Topin inspired build for Fallen Ike. Essentially, we're just going to stack some Unity effects on him and then watch him melt foes with his billion free stats and unlimited Mayhem Ethers. Now with that, my ultimate Special Spiral 4 guide is done. I hope this can help you think of who you want to inherit Special Spiral 4 to, and hopefully showed you some fun builds as well. Make sure to drop a comment down below letting me know who you'll be inheriting your special spiral for to, or who you plan to in the future. If you enjoyed, like and subscribe. This has been Oblivion. I'll catch you all later.